Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. We are here at Salzburgring for the second race of the Renault Clio Cup Bohemia, and what a race it was yesterday. So many changes in position, so many overtaking maneuvers, but just like it would simply not interest one certain guy, Bartłomiej Mirecki, who maybe apart from little situations here and there, pretty much never gave the position back to anyone. And although mayhem appeared behind his back, he stayed incredibly calm and he drove exactly as he needed to, and kept his head down, scored the victory. But now, today, it's a different story for him because we have top 12 positions reversed. You see David Babraj on pole position, and alongside him, his teammate Julian Śmiechowski on the front row of the grid. JTA's racing team, they had a lot to do after yesterday's race because their three drivers really didn't help each other very much, and they entered a lot of battles together, collecting a lot of damage through them. So we have got Babraj and Śmiechowski on the front row of the grid. Nico Wüst in third, alongside him Pavel Vismik. Then Jörg Sodník in fifth from Petar Miloradovic. Filip Živok in seventh from Oskar Marszałkowski. Matic Preša in ninth. Rafał Paprota in 10th as the best junior of yesterday's race. Tomáš Pekař, the defending champion of the previous 4 seasons, he is in 11th, and yesterday's race winner Bartłomiej Mirecki down in 12th. So today Bartek is going to have to enter the fights and is going to have to move up the order. Not that he can't do that, he's already showed that multiple times in the past, but we are in for an exciting race number 2 here this weekend. Alex Sovka in 13th from Vašek Janík Jr. in 14th, Miha Primožič, then Ksavery Osolinsky Nierodka, Reto Wüst, Piotr Lavsky, Tom Grünfeld and Oliver Bucifal completing the top 20. Behind them Jan Raška, Ivan Gustin, Alan Kluza, who had a pretty dramatic moment losing the car into the first chicane yesterday and being extremely lucky not to have collected anyone. Petr Palotáš in 24th, Walter Nežič in 25th, then Vladimír Jaklin and Tomislav Jaklin presumably joining the field for today's race as well, having not taken part yesterday as they entered the TCR race instead. But it is car number 55 as the last one, which would then mean that it is again a no start for Vladimír and Tomislav Jaklin. We may see them later on in the Croatian field. Matic Preša had nice fights yesterday. In the end, ended up, well, so to say, empty-handed in terms of overall race result trophies. He was, of course, on the podium among the juniors, but he ended up 4th on the road, having lost the ultimate fight with Rafał Paprota, who scored a P3. In the end, we had Bartek Mirecki taking victory, although there were multiple drivers trying to rob him of that first place, nobody actually managing to do so properly. So this time for the Renault Clio, unlike in the Suzuki Swift Cup, it's just clear 25 minutes with no extra lap added to it. That's very important to remember. And yeah, we're going to have, I would say, 2 pretty aggressive drivers on the front row. 2 drivers that definitely do not fear entering battles. And with the reverse grid order here at Salzburgring, it's definitely bound to be exciting, because We have a very strong field, 25 cars on the grid, and that is promising a great motorsport spectacle. And if you had a chance to see any of the previous Clio Cup races earlier on this season, then you know that these are always the ones to watch. So, cars getting back to the grid, assuming their grid positions, and we will be good to go for the second time this weekend for the third weekend of the season out of 7. The red lights are on, the red lights are off, and away we go with JTS Racing Cars leading us away from the grid. David Babraj from pole position. Nico Wüst slotting behind them in third. And it is Julian Śmiechowski immediately assuming the race lead into the first chicane from his teammate. We've already got Filip Živok staying careful and going straight ahead in the chicane. He mustn't gain any places. Everybody safely through. Some of the drivers already dropping wheels onto the grass and into the helix with Tomáš Pekař trying to choose the inside line on Petar Miloradovic in his yellow Clio. There is your race leader, and he's immediately in trouble with race stewards. Warning flag for him for not respecting race director's instructions. But it seems that he might just get away with a warning for the time being. He's already collected a couple of penalties the last time yesterday, a 5-second penalty to him. So Julian Śmiechowski needs to be a tad more careful. Currently coming under pressure from his teammate David Babraj and the JTS cars driving away from the rest of the pack. But it is Tomáš Pekař having again a fantastic opening lap of the race. We are also going to watch out for Bartłomiej Mirecki, where he can get on the opening lap of the race. That's going to be very important, but so far no trouble to report apart from that one drive through the chicane straight ahead. I heard some gravel being kicked up in the air somewhere from the ambient microphones, I think. But let's get back to the race in the top 10. Śmiechowski leading from Babraj, and it is already Pavel Vismik taking third from Nico Wüst. Behind him, it is Jörg Sodnik, and we have got one of the cars cutting across the chicane. That would be Tomáš Pekař. He did have trouble yesterday quite a lot of times squeezing his car in. Right now doing the same again, but not gaining any places through that. That of course would incur a penalty. Matic Preša dropping down, and it is Bartłomiej Mirecki up already a couple of places. There he goes. That would be behind Marszałkowski. Is that for P8, P9? Maybe it is. We're going to have to count the cars. No. They are actually further up the head already. This is definitely not 8th and 9th, so a lot has changed since we ran across the line, as is very common in the Clio Cup race. But these two are still leading. Śmiechowski from David Babraj. Julian Śmiechowski already has one victory to his name this season. Pavel Vismik in third from Nico Wüst and Jörg Sodnik. Then it is Oskar Marszałkowski and Bartłomiej Mirecki. Both Carpek cars dropped down, both Tomáš Pekař and Filip Živok. So not the best lap number 2 for the team from Mělník. Across the line we go. Śmiechowski from Babraj. Vismik, Wüst, Sodnik. That's the next trio, with Sodnik making a move on Nico Wüst and getting himself ahead. Then it is Marszałkowski and Mirecki in 6th and 7th. Then Rafał Paprota, Tomáš Pekař. They are in a fight of their own behind them. Filip Živok fighting Matic, Preša. Behind them only Petar Miloradovic. There is Preša alongside Tomáš Pekař. Vismik and Sodnik already pulling away from Nico Wüst, as the two JTS cars so far rather helping each other out, unlike yesterday. Maybe there was a great debate last night about the first race and what to do and what not. And I need to see that the quality of the field just improves with every race. With that, you can see that yesterday's race winners are struggling a lot more to gain places than we maybe would expect. And it's not so easy to overtake here around Salzburgring. It's one of the more difficult tracks to overtake on. Through the fearsome turn number 11 we go. These are positions a little further down the field. That would have been Jan Raška and Ivan Gustin fighting each other. And there are your race leaders. David Babraj still staying close together with his teammate. And they are doing great laps together. 137.7, 137.8 for them on the previous lap. And they are still lapping faster than the rest of the pack, which is very important for them. Filip Živok on the grass, and that makes him lose a lot of positions. So not a great development for the Polish driver, being overtaken right now by one of his teammates. That would be Jan Raška. Filip Živok dropping all the way down behind the top 20. That's not good. Car number 10 with damage. That was Tom Grünfeld. There is Raška also with an unplanned facelift on his Clio. Petar Miloradovic fighting that would appear to be Reto Wüst, is it? Or has Nico Wüst already dropped a lot more since the start? It does seem so, because Reto Wüst is down in 16th, so this would be Nico, who was once as high as 3rd. Śmiechowski with Babraj. They are more than 3 seconds clear of the rest of the field. By the way, Bartek Mirecki, yesterday's race winner and the championship leader, has been successful in his attempts to move up the order. He's also just set the fastest lap of the race, 137.589. Being nearly half a second faster than the race leaders. and he's already got to, well, he was 5th across the line the last time out. Now he's already 3rd, having overtaken Sodnik and Vismik. Oskar Marszałkowski moving up the order as well. So the 3rd JTS car coming through the contention as well. And yeah, he's already, well, his left-hand side rearview mirror not really rearview mirroring anymore, as is just hanging off the car now, not really doing its function anymore. Tomáš Pekař also tries to move up the order, but he's not really been that successful just yet. He's now cleared Miloradovic, but he's behind Preša, behind Paprota and Pavel Vismik. There they are running up the hill again. Bartek Mirecki tries to summon some help from someone else. He's got Jörg Sodnik. At his disposal, so together they might just start trying to get closer to the race leaders, but they've already pulled out quite a handy gap. .1:37.0, another fastest lap of the race from Mirecki. He was even nearly a full second faster on the previous lap, even though he was still battling other cars, but also enjoying slipstream through that. Śmiechowski from Babraj. There is Mirecki, together with Sodnik. Oskar Marszałkowski in 5th. From Paprota, Preša, Vismik, Tomáš Pekař in 9th. Petar Miloradovic completing the top 10 for the moment. Behind them, Niko Vust and Miha Primožič moving up to 12th. You can see Oskar Marszałkowski, the predominantly cyan car, and his left-hand side rear view mirror hanging off his Clio, so he can't really see to the left. He's having to use the middle rear view mirror. Is now being pushed out by Paprota, and more trouble as Paprota now has to skip across the gravel. More trouble for everyone else. Matic Preša had to take evasive action, and that disrupts the entire group. And through goes Tomáš Pekař. What a mess that was, and the experienced Czech driver, champion from the previous 4 years, now coming through. And a lot of the cars really angled and really using just 2 wheels through the chicane. What a sight. So Pekař up to 5th from Marszałkowski. This would be car number 86, Alex Sovka in the pit. So across the line we go again with Śmiechowski and Babraj still together. How about Mirecki and his times? He's slightly faster still. These two did 1:37.5 and 6. Mirecki did 1:37.3, just like Jörg Sodnik. Those two are helping each other out very nicely, but Tomáš Pekař 1:37.0 in his personal best lap. So Tomáš Pekař also trying to get into the fight. And this is a contact between Miloradovic and Oskar Marszałkowski. Miloradovic gained a handy number of places lately, while Marszałkowski is now fighting hard with Matic Preša, not leaving him very much space, and they are making contacts with one another. These guys are really going aggressive, pushing each other out. It's quite dangerous along this straight. We had a big crash in the Twingo Cup race earlier on here. And I think that the top 5 is now gradually becoming one group, actually. 1:36.8, a new fastest lap of the race by Tomáš Pekař. Great pace from the Czech driver. And he just reminds everybody why he's the multiple champion of the series. It did look like he struggled to get through the field as quickly as maybe Bartłomiej Mirecki did. But currently, Śmiechowski leading by 0.7 of a second from Babraj. So they are still together, but Mirecki closing in 2.2, which means he's 1.5 seconds behind Babraj. He was again faster. Śmiechowski set his personal best at 1:37.5, Babraj did 37.7, Mirecki 37.4, Sodnik 37.3, Pekař 36.8, which just tells you that the top 5 is just closing in and getting more and more compact. So that just promises a very exciting end of the race with 9 minutes left. There are still a couple of laps to go. Should be enough time to get us to something exciting. In the meantime, we can enjoy, for example, this fight. Marszałkowski in 7th from Miloradovic. Marszałkowski would be actually in 6th, having overtaken Miloradovic. And I believe that was one of the rearview mirrors just finding its way away from one of the cars. Mirecki again closer to Babraj, but Babraj gradually losing touch with Śmiechowski. He's trying to pull ahead, he's trying to pull clear. 10-second penalty for car number 9 for the jump start. That would be Jan Raška. Very unfortunate. Also, car number 33 penalized for the same offense, and that would be Ivan Gustin. Up ahead we go. Tomáš Pekař already together with Jörg Sodnik. And as I mentioned, this is already pretty much a compact top 5 group. Safety car will go out, because there is a lot of mess and a lot of debris and a lot of gravel. Safety car is out. So the race is neutralized, not exactly what we needed, honestly, because this group was just closing in and closing together. And it's a bit of a shame, because we were shaping up for final fight for positions. I mean, we'll probably get them still. Ooh, and that's Matic Preša in the gravel trap. So, okay, for that reason, we do need the safety car. We do need to give the marshals time to clear away the car. There is your safety car, and it's going to be a very exciting restart, honestly. Six minutes left, and that means that we will not get a whole lot of racing when the race gets restarted again. So now the entire field is closed up and bunched up together. That means we still have Julian Śmiechowski in the race lead since the race start. From David Babraj, the JTS cars really need to help each other out here to take that victory, because right behind them is yesterday's race winner and the championship leader, Bartłomiej Mirecki, and he is not just going to be hanging around. He will pounce, and the less time he gets for it, I guess the more aggressive he'll probably be. Jörg Sodník then in fourth. He was already coming under pressure from Tomáš Pekař, who will also want to say something about it. Petar Miloradovic in sixth from Oskar Marszałkowski. They had a fight of their own right before the safety car, and it looks like Miloradovic got back ahead of Oskar. Rafał Paprota in 8th. He was on the podium yesterday, so we still need to count with him as well. Miha Primožič up into the top 10. Great race from the Slovenian today as well. Pavel Vismik in 10th. Behind the top 10 we have Nico Wust, Alan Kluza. Alan Kluza from, 23rd on the grid up to 12th. Again showing great pace, however, his weekend being heavily disrupted by the incident in the yesterday's race. In the end, he was third on the grid yesterday, so he's definitely one of the fastest cars on the track, and he still might get himself into the top 10. Really depends on how much time we'll get. Ooh, and there's a lot of debris and there's a lot of gravel on the track. That's not suitable for us to go racing again. If that is not cleared, I think this bit is now missing on the car of Ksawery Osolinski-Nierodka, yeah? That was the lower grille. And I believe that exactly that sort of spare part would now be needed on Nierodka's car, prepared by BM Racing Team. Lots of cars dented, damaged. There are also the bollards being, torn to pieces in the first chicane. Matic Preša has just been pulled out of the gravel and he drives his car back to the pits, so he won't need to be dragged away. Of course, there is nothing he's allowed to do, nothing else he's allowed to do other than driving to pits, because he's already received external assistance, and with that you're not allowed to continue. And either way, he will need his car to be checked by the team. Matic Preša therefore just driving back to the pits so that the clear away action is as quick as possible, and we will try to restart it. But look at this. This is a proper scrapyard. Okay. The lower grille being taken away. There are more pieces of debris, but we're probably not going to be that interested in them. It seems safety car with the entire pack driving through. This does not look like we're going to restart, because under the safety car we're lapping in around 3 minutes, and the safety car cannot come in right now. They will have to do at least one more lap, and that's exactly the last lap that we have time for, which means that that would be it for all the racing action today. It's a great deal of shame, because it was really shaping up for us to have a very, very interesting fight for the race lead. This is the final lap, and it will be done under the safety car. So safety car will leave the track at the end of this lap, just so that it's not on the finishing pictures. But that's going to be it. Safety car infringement under investigation reported to the stewards, but for whom? I do not know. There's just a message that I'm reading on the race control messaging board. 50 seconds left. That's irrelevant now, because we'll simply circulate around Salzburgring one more time, only to get everybody across the line, finish the race in exactly the same order as we have on track right now, and that will be it. So that means that Julian Śmiechowski is going to take his second victory of the season from David Babraj and Bartek Mirecki. So it's going to be all Polish podium, and it will also be the first time this season that we will not have Tomáš Pekař on the rostrum. Not a great weekend for the Czech driver, honestly, and it's a second winless weekend for him. So he's going to have to come back. The next weekend that Renault Clio Cup will do is going to be actually on Tomáš's home soil in Most, a track that he knows very, very well. So we're expecting him to be back at full strength. Next week, the Formula 4 field is going to Slovakia. Not the Clios, though. They will come to Slovakia later on this year, then to Brno, then to Hungary. So, safety car will now drive away from the field, and Julian Śmiechowski will take everybody across the line. And so there we go, Julian Śmiechowski makes his way around the final corner, nobody can overtake, and that means that Julian Śmiechowski takes his second win of 2026 from his teammate David Babraj. So it's a 1-2 for JTS Racing Team. Bartek Mirecki in third in his BM Racing's car, only still to cement his position in the championship lead, because he comes across the line ahead of his main rival Tomáš Pekař. He's fifth on the road. In front of him, Slovenian driver Jörg Sodník to take his best result of the season so far. Jörg Sodník, who entered this round being towards the bottom part of the top 10, scoring 8 points at the Red Bull Ring, 6 points in Grobnik, and this being his best weekend to date. Petar Miloradovic, also his best result in 6th, from Oskar Marszałkowski, Rafał Paprota, Pavel Vismik and Miha Primožič completing the top 10. Behind it, Nico Wüst, Alan Kluza, Václav Janík Jr., Reto Wüst, Oliver Bucifal on his debut, Piotr Lavsky, Xavery Osolinsky-Nierodka, Filip Živok made his way back up to 18th at least. Tom Grünfeld, Walter Nežič completing the top 20, and then Jan Raška, who will be penalized, Ivan Gustin, who will be penalized, then Peter Palotáš, Matic, Preša, but he's already out of this race, just like Alex Sovka. What a race it was again. Unfortunately, a bit anticlimactic, which is a great deal of shame, because, as mentioned, the top 5 was shaping up for a great races finish. However, that's motorsport. Sometimes it's simply not to be. Not that Julian Śmiechowski is going to be too sad about it, as he collected his second win of 2026.